Good morning and welcome to yoga. So this is going to be a short 10-minute video that you can do right out of bed to get your body moving, to get your energy flowing for the day. My name is Amanda from Happy Hippie Fitness. This is also part of the 12 days of wellness, which I'm doing 12 days of uploading different types of wellness videos, whether it be a meditation, a yoga class, or a surprise. So check out the playlist. It'll be linked in the description and at the end of the video. But when you're ready, let's get into it. We're going to start in a child's pose. So coming with your knees as wide as your mat, tap the back toes together, sit back into your hips. We're going to crawl the head down until it touches the mat. You can even put a pillow underneath your forehead. And just start to notice how your body feels against the mat. Notice the gravity pulling your forehead down, your hands down, your knees and your shins against the mat. Feeling the aliveness in our body. Noticing our breath. And remembering it's a new day. We can always choose how we want to present ourselves during the day. We can choose our emotions, our responses to things, our attitude. Every day is a new start. When you're ready, we're going to come into a tabletop position. So you want to have your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hip bones. We're going to switch back and forth between cobra and child's pose to kind of warm up the spine. As we switch between the two movements, we're going to be moving our back like we would in a cat-cow. So for example, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to arch our back and sit back into our hips. Just take a deep breath here. And then to come forward, we're going to do the motion that we would usually do for cow. So we're going to come up and arch our back, rounding it forward. Maybe walk the hands to the top of the mat with your back still arched. And then we're going to start to bring the hips forward, drop the hips down until we come into our cobra. Then to go back into cobra, we're bending the back. So I'm kind of arching my back, sitting back into my hips, drop the head, deep breath. And then we're going to round our shoulders, start to come up off the ground. We're pushing onto our hands, the hips drop down, cobra. So we're going to do this just like you would do cat-cow at your own breath. So pushing the hips back here on the exhale. And on the inhale, I'm really going slow. I'm rounding every part of my spine. Shoulders last. Head comes up last. Exhale, I'm pushing the hips back with a bit of an arch in my back. Inhale as I round and push the hands against the ground. Drop the hips. And exhale as I push my hips back. I'll be quiet as we do just a few more of these at your own pace. If this is too much for you, you can always go into traditional cat-cow. And last one, we'll sit back in a child's pose for a second. Notice how your spine feels. Maybe you want to move around side to side a bit. Did you hear my shoulder pop? That was crazy. We're going to go into puppy pose for a few seconds to open up the shoulders. Mine are already open, I guess. So you're going to walk your hands in front of you. And then you're going to think about getting your chest down to the ground. So I'm sitting the hips back. My chest gets a little lower. And you'll start to feel the pull in your shoulder blades here. So my chest does not touch the floor. It's okay if it doesn't. You'll see photos of puppies pose where people's chests are pressing on the ground. I've been practicing a few years and mine doesn't touch the ground. So if yours does, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's great as well. Think about pressing your hands against the mat as you almost continually sit the hips back to keep that pull in the shoulders. Maybe you want to massage the head. Shaking no. Looking side to side. We'll take our last two breaths in puppy pose. Okay. Coming out of puppy pose, we're going to push on our hands till we come kind of back up in to this extended tabletop. Tuck our toes, continually push the hands in the mat, And we rise for our downward dog. We're going to pedal out the feet here, waking up the back and the calves and the hamstrings. And make sure you're looking in between your legs to keep the neck nice and loose. We're going to walk or hop our feet to the top of the mat. So look at your hands and then walk the feet or hop to the tippy top of your mat. Stay folded over. Keep a nice bend in the knees and let the upper body hang for just a second. You can grab the elbows if you'd like, sway side to side. We're going to halfway lift, so we're going to take our palms, press it against our shins, and flatten our back. Think about pulling the shoulder blades back and down and gazing forward for our halfway lift. Exhale, round the back, let the knees bend, forward fold. And inhale, we're going to rise all the way up to standing. So here we go. We're going to go in for a little bit of balance to start our flow today. So we're going to lean on to our right foot just a little bit here. The left foot is going to come up into the air for knee to hip level. Try to find the spot on the floor or in front of you to gaze at to keep that balance. And if it feels good, maybe you can extend that shin and straighten that leg. Just for a second, you're going to feel the hamstring and bring it back to bent. Option here, if you're feeling good for it, we can hook our finger in between our big toe and extend the leg straight out again. You can also go into tree if you would like. We're just doing a little bit of balance work. Okay, option to put the foot down for a second or keep it up. We're going to transition into dancer. So we're going to bring the foot behind you, kick it into your palm. Actively kick the top of your foot into the back of your hand. And as you kick, your upper body should lean forward a bit. You can bring the right arm in front of you for dancer. And gracefully, we're going to step that foot back into a lunge. So, coming with that foot down, arms up over the head, we are now in a nice warrior one. I'm just going to switch sides for a second so you can see the next part, but you stay there. So right foot is bent, left leg is pushed back. We're going to straighten the legs up and turn the hips out. We're going to get ready for triangle pose. For triangle pose, you want to have the right toes out. The left toes are facing the side. Bump your hips out as if they're trying to touch the hand here. The right hand comes out. Lean forward like you're going to shake someone's hand. And then keep going down. Get a nice side bend. Triangle pose. So you're stretching and lengthening the side of your body, which is great after sleeping on your side. Lower back pain usually can come from the side of your body being stiff, so this is a good pose for alleviating any lower back pain as well. When you're ready, think about pulling up from your side. So we're going to use the side to rise up like so. And we're going to start to bend the right leg again. My left arm comes all the way down into dragonfly. So we got a nice twist here to warm up the hips and upper body. If it's too much, you can bring the back leg down. But otherwise, keep it up. And then we are going to bring the back hands down here. You can bring the back leg down again if you'd like. We're into lizard pose. So for lizard pose, I like to keep my back leg down. My foot, I'm leaning onto the outer edge of it, just like if you were opening a book. So the outer edge of my foot is on the mat. And we're just going to rock side to side here for a little bit to open up the hip. I like to move to the right and the left. We're just in moving lizard, just a few seconds to really get into those hips. And when it feels good, you can bring your foot flat back down. We're going to start to push the hands back and straighten out that right leg. So now we're in our little half splits here. Maybe you want to play around with the foot. You can keep it flat, or you can point the toes up in that dorsiflexion position so they face the sky. Or you can do both. You can rock back and forth. This is going to stretch the hamstring and the calf. So play around with it. You can rotate the ankle maybe, or stay static and stationary. From here, we're going to start to bend the knee just a little bit again. We're going to step up, so tuck the back toes, we're going to step up, and then you can place both hands down onto the ground. Now we're going to go into our pyramid pose. So for pyramid pose, I like to bring my back foot in a little closer. So notice I have maybe 1.5 feet between my 2 feet, where my heel ends on the right foot, where my toes begin on the left. If you need blocks or something, you can also bring them. They're going to help keep your back straight. Otherwise, we're stretching the front leg. My leg isn't completely locked out. It's very lightly, loosely bent. Keeping my chin tucked in. Just breathe into the stretch you feel. Okay, we're going to start to bend the right knee heavily, so really bend it. Step forward and forward fold. And sway side to side, shake it out. Inhale, halfway lift, pull the shoulder blades back and down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're going to rise and stand. So we're going to repeat that same sequence, but this side on the opposite leg. So I'm going to pivot again so you guys, I'm not going to be talking to the wall the entire time, basically. So we started with the left leg, now we're going to go onto the right leg. So shift all your weight to the left side. Inhale, we're going to lift up that right foot so you have the knee at hip level. You want to always stare at the same focus point, whether it be a crack on your floor, a zipper, something that you can stare at that's ahead of you. You can try and extend that leg out if you want. Maybe hook into the toes like we did last time. And we'll get ready to kick the foot back into our hand for dancer. So again, I'm pushing the outside of my foot into the inside of my hand. As I push, my leg rises, and that's going to make my chest lean forward. Good. You got it. Actively push that foot into the hand. And we're going to get ready to step back into that lunge. Step it back. Ooh. Hands up. And we can rise up, open up the back foot, and now we're going to get into our triangle. So for triangle on this side, hips bump to the right. My left arm comes out like I'm going to shake someone's hand, and I keep going down. You always want to push against your leg. You can go down to the floor and hold the floor or a block. So if you want to invite a block in, you can. But the point is to open the heart, twist, feel the side body being alleviated. Maybe you want to reach over your head. It's up to you. Take another breath here and we'll rise up, pulling with our side body. So all the way up we go. We're going to bend that left leg. Right hand comes down, right into our dragonfly. Rotating, looking up with the hand. Breathe into this for one more breath. And again, we can drop the back leg down. We're going to go into our lizard pose. So for my lizard pose, I like to drop the back leg. Otherwise, you're planting both hands inside your left foot. I'm going to open up my left foot so the heel, the inner lining is touching the mat, and I can get more of a stretch, and I'm just going to start moving side to side. There's no right or wrong way to move. We're just kind of going intuitively, whatever feels good, to get into the nooks and crannies on both hips. Move side to side. You can try circle motions, just loosening the hip up, keeping it dynamic. You just want to keep moving. And on my next breath, I'm going to place my foot flat down. Start to walk my hands back until my front leg straightens. And we are in our half splits. You can always shake the head yes and no. Maybe move the foot around. It's always up to you what you want to do with each pose. This is your practice. I'm just here to guide you. And when you're ready, we can start to put the foot down. Bend the front knee heavily. We're going to rise. And I'm going to jump my back foot in just a little bit. Hands go flat or on blocks. And we are in our pyramid pose. Chose these movements today so we can get into the hips, the hamstrings, the back. Basically all the things that are a little bit tight when we wake up in the morning. So that's the goal of this class today. And when you're ready, we can bend the front knee. Make sure the front knee's bent. Step both feet forward for our forward fold. Now we can come down to the mat however you can here. We can come down in Malasana, the yogi squat, or we can try a toe squat. So if you want to walk your feet, heel toe the feet together until they're close. Basically your heels are going to lift up here, so you're going to come down. Your toes are the only things on the mat. You can bring your hands behind you to help. And we come down onto our butt. We're going to go for some twist here, so lower down with some control. You can hug both knees into your chest, maybe draw some circles with them. You can move the circles the other way. And when you're ready, we're going to settle into our twist. So you can either twist by pushing both legs over to one side, or maybe you can keep one leg straight. It's up to you. I'm going to go with both legs and look over the opposite shoulder. When you're ready, we can switch sides. So legs go over the torso to the other side, and then you look over the other shoulder. As we bring the feet back to center, we can take any final poses if you want to pause the video. Maybe you want to go for some more back stretches, a happy baby for your hips. But when you're ready, you can meet me in Shavasana. We're just going to take a 1 minute here to breathe and relax after our practice. So hands face the ceiling. Slowly heavy the eyes when you're ready. And again, just thank yourself mentally for taking the time to make room for this practice today. It was only a short amount of time, but you put it aside for yourself, taking the steps towards being the better version of yourself, the healthier version of yourself, whatever it may be. Just notice any changes in your body after today's practice, what feels good, what doesn't. Just become aware. And you're ready. Start to come back into your body. You can move the hands around. You can meet me in a seated position with your eyes closed. And thank you again for taking the time to do this class with me and taking the time for yourself. You can open your eyes when you're ready. And I'll see you soon. Have a great day.